This is a walk around and review of my 1997 Freightliner FL70. It has the Cummins 5.9 engine and the Allison transmission. I bought it from a guy, he was actually from Alaska. This truck was never in Alaska, but he moved down here and he was using it to haul restaurant equipment between two restaurants he owned. And he actually bought it from FedEx. Was the previous owner before him. I bought it with 103,000 miles on it, so it was actually pretty low mileage for the year and for it being a diesel. So I'm sure it probably has a lot of operating miles or operating hours, but as far as the mileage goes, it's actually pretty low. It looks like there was signage on the sign at some point. It got taken down or painted over. At some point I do hope to paint over that, but that really doesn't have anything to do with the truck itself for the purposes of this video. But you can see it's pretty sure it's been in Tennessee its whole life. It's pretty rust free down here. I mean, there's a little bit of superficial surface rust, but nothing too bad. This paint's a little bit worn off on these stairs here. It does have 3 batteries, which is pretty interesting. I know most diesels, even these big ones, have 2, but this one has 3. Probably because it has a lift gate, so that's always been really nice. The battery, the truck, knock on wood, battery hasn't died on me while working yet. That's even with using the lift gate all day. It also has a little power outlet right here, which I'd be interested to try out, but I don't have anything to plug in, which would be female. I guess you could run an extension cable from here. It looks like there's a little bit of rust in here, but I mean, if that works, that'd be pretty cool. If I had anything to plug into, I guess I would try it out, but I don't really have any power equipment like that. Moving on to the back of the truck. This is a 20-foot box, so it's pretty good, pretty spacious. It's a high cube. Not every box is this tall. I believe it rides at 12'6", but haven't tested that theory with any low underpasses yet. But so this is the roll-up door. Don't know if that's original or not, but it's still in pretty good condition. Still everything works as it should. This is the lift gate right here. Pretty standard 2,500 pound lift gate, works as it should. Again, I don't really know if it's standard or if it's original or anything like that, but when I first got this truck I had to replace the solenoid, which I think including labor was like $120, so it wasn't really bad. It has dually tires. So far this truck's been really good. The one thing you do have to watch out on these trucks is you can get them stuck. Just because it's a dually doesn't mean you can really necessarily take it off-road if it's rained recently. I know right here technically I kind of have it off-road, but as you can see it's right next to some gravel. But I have got this truck stuck before, and it's not cheap to have a wrecker come and pull it out. And that was just kind of carelessness on my own part. The customer said I could back into their grass, and I went a little too far off their driveway and kind of got stuck in some mud. It has this area right here. I'm not really sure what it would be for. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's a pretty big area. Like, I don't know if maybe like a toolbox was in here at some point or what you could put there, but if anyone knows what that is, you could comment below and let me know. That'd be cool. The fuel tank is on this side, which is kind of annoying because most trucks they are not, but I believe it's a 75-gallon fuel tank. So it's bigger than a 50, not quite 100. Hard to say exactly on these old trucks. But anyway, it's a diesel. It's pre-DEF, so that's really nice. There's no, you won't have any problems with the emission system or anything like that. The exhaust is over here, pretty big exhaust pipe, but it's not too interesting, so we'll move on. I'll pop the hood here in a second. So yeah, it's got a little bit of a crack right here, but for whatever reason I've noticed most older trucks do have something like that on the hood. So anyway, here is the engine in all its glory. Far as I can tell, it leaks a little bit of oil and really not much of anything else. So I mean, that's pretty much to be expected with these older trucks. You are going to have oil leaks from somewhere, but I check the other fluids, are usually at a good level. Haven't really had to fill anything else up yet. I've owned this truck for a little over a year, but so I guess it does have a little bit of an oil leak, but it's nothing I'm too concerned about. I mean, I've only had to put a few quarts in it. But anyway, so just give you guys a shot of the engine bay from this side. It does have a really big air intake and all that, but again, that's just kind of to be expected with the diesel truck. But it's the Cummins 5.9 liter, very famous, very well-known engine. They're known to go for 400, 500, 600,000 miles if you take good care of them. So far I've been really happy with this truck. Haven't had any issues with it. It's always been a good, reliable work truck so far. The last box truck I owned before this was a Ford F800, and it had the same 5.9 liter engine, an Allison transmission, but it had electrical problems like no other. It had the Lucas Girling electrical brake system, and I would recommend if anyone ever looks at a truck with a Lucas Girling brake system, just walk away from it. The mechanics, basically, I had to talk to like 5 or 6 different mechanics before I could find any who were even willing to work on one. And then I think I got quoted like $4,000 or $5,000 just to get the parking brake unstuck, which is a common problem for those. So I ended up selling that truck at a loss, which, lesson learned, but not a huge loss, but you know, lesson learned. So stay away from that. So I'd say any truck from like the 80s to 90s, you definitely want to have the air brakes on it, because with the electrical braking system you may run the risk of it being something funky like the Lucas Girling, or I don't know if there are any other companies that made something like that. They had a short run because they weren't very popular. But anyway, I'm gonna start this up. Can't really say it's a cold start because it's like 100 degrees out right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and start it up and it'll fire right up. So that buzzing right there, that's just from where the air pressure has not caught up to spec yet. But as you can see, it still retains its air pretty good. Fuel gauge works, odometer, speedometer works, the temperature gauge works, the oil pressure works. If you rev it before the engine's warmed up, the oil pressure goes up a little bit, but I think that's normal. So as long as you aren't like flooring it like that, you should be fine. But other than that, has the air brake parking release. I believe it's a 4-speed transmission. I'm not 100% sure. It's a little dirty, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, and also funny thing is it has the parking brake here, which most big trucks, they would have reverse, then neutral, then drive, things like that. This one you can put it in park either this way or by pulling this, but I always pull this first and put it in park and then do it that way, just because I think that's the more textbook way to do it. But anyway, that's let's see. Oh yeah, it has these speakers in here. The sound quality on them is honestly pretty good. I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear it. I don't know if I can play music without getting this video demonetized, but actually the speakers that came in this truck are actually pretty dang nice, especially for being like 25 years old. They actually still sound pretty good and pretty loud. Has 2 bucket seats, so I don't know if you can call these bucket seats. I kind of wish it had a bench seat because sometimes we have 3 guys in here. You can, I'm assuming, install a bench seat aftermarket, but it's just not exactly the easiest thing to find anymore, because they don't exactly have these trucks all over in junkyards and stuff like that, because most of them probably still working. But yeah, these are really good trucks. I've owned 3 different box trucks. I've owned Ford, Freightliner, International. The Freightliner's probably been my favorite so far, just because it's very simple, very straightforward, has everything you need, nothing that you don't. It's just a good quality truck that I trust, and if I could buy another one of these for the same price, I would do it in a heartbeat. So Freightliner FL70, I think the FL70, the FL60, I'm not exactly sure what the difference between the 2 of them is. When I see them for sale, they seem about the same truck to me. But these are all really good trucks, really good working trucks. I mean, if you can have them, if you find one that's been taken care of and you continue to take care of it, it'll definitely take care of you for a long time. So I hope this review was helpful to some people. If you guys have any questions about the truck or anything else, you can let me know in the comments down below. Thank you.